Kellie has a very successful track record working for a couple of different kinds of companies, most successfully with Cisco. And when I interviewed her, we obviously talked about her track record and about some opportunities I was working, and she since has kind of blown me off because she has enough interviews on her own. But nonetheless, I tend to talk about what's going on in my business and my life and about this event, and she just had the best answers and ideas about some of the things we were doing. So I invited her here, and here she is. The question I had for Kellie was, do you remember the question?
The challenges with working with millennials, or
What are some of the roadblocks you faced? Good thing I have this written down. Kellie's not prepared.
typical millennial.
Roadblocks you faced or challenges you've encountered working for GenX in or baby boomer executives within the truly great companies you've been employed by.
So as your typical millennial, I'm going to have to change the question and answer a little
Sure.
bit. So
Go for it.
working for baby boomers and the Gen Xers, so the first thing I told Jordan when we first met, he was telling me this concept, I said, you definitely have to segregate baby boomers and Gen Xers. I found that there's a big difference between the two. Baby boomers have children who are millennials. So actually working for baby boomers has been generally very successful. They look at me as, someone that they want to help because, their kid could be in the same situation. My dad actually said to me one time, he was on a business trip, this guy said, hey, do you mind if, my dad was in procurement, do you mind if I bring this, kind of millennial in to meet with us? He's kind of, training, learning. My dad was like, of course I don't mind, my daughter's doing the same kind of program. So, and I found that, working for baby boomers, it was kind of that same mentality. They wanted to help. Where I found the challenges is not as much working for baby boomers or even Gen Xers, but it's the working with. So in my last 2 years, I'm now 8-9 years into my career, and I never really had an issue prior to the last 2 years. But now, when I'm on the same level, is when the craziness has started, and where I've had some really kind of crazy moments in the workplace. So one of my last gig at Cisco, I worked again on par, the same position. I was partnering with another Gen Xer, and it was a male, so he kind of said things, but didn't come right out and say it. But it was very much I don't like that we're on the same level and that kind of thing. But then my second job now, the woman just came right out and said it. She's like, we should not be on the same position. We should not have the same title. You have less experience. And that was when my first experience of, oh my gosh, they're threatened. This is an issue. And I think one of the challenges is, we're bombarded as millennials. We're not, dumb. We hear the chatter. We read the posts. I was on LinkedIn the other day, and there was this innocuous article about how software consumption models and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, the first comment was, well, if millennials would just work and show up at work, then this wouldn't be an issue. What are you talking about? It had like over 100 likes, and it was like, that has nothing to do with the article. That is like, you made the joke. Yeah, you made the joke about the groping. You can't be sexist, you can't be racist, but you can be ageist. It's like, that's totally fine. You can, on LinkedIn, on a public profile, trash people for their age, and but so I think the problem is millennials see that all the time. So we come in, we talked about this, we come in with that preconceived notion that this is what other people think of us, and then it's reinforced, and even, even if it's not, it's kind of in the back of our head, so even if it's not as extreme as the situation I've had, it's kind of that underlying tension, and I think, so my very first job at Cisco, we actually had a generational awareness class. We did.
5 days.
So,
5-day class.
yeah, so, and then they talked to us about, these are the different stereotypes of the different generations, and one of the girls, and I had prior work experience and all this, but one of the girls raised her hand and she goes, so if we encounter this, should we say something? I was like, Lena, this isn't like if you see a fire, say something. Don't walk up to someone and be like, I think kind of, we don't say anything. I mean, again, like, to Lena's like, no, Lena, don't say anything, like, don't walk into that, I think we're gonna have issues because you're old. But like, at the same time, then we don't say anything, it's like, so the other extreme is we just don't ever talk about it, and it's the underlying. So again, we don't need to talk about it, we don't need to, go up and be like, I think we're gonna have differences because there's an age gap, but I think just understanding where each other are coming from and understanding kind of the major roadblocks. I mean, Sean and I were just talking about it, the stereotype I think that is somewhat true of millennials, we do need to feel purpose. We do need to understand what we're doing more so than other generations, and just acknowledging those things and working through those things.
Yeah,
I think
taking down the roadblocks.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and not perpetuating the stereotype, so.
Well, I really appreciate your time and your perspective, and just one last thing, because I remember we talked a little bit about this. You noticed in the workplace kind of a difference between that Gen Xer relationship and you versus the baby boomers. And you think that that's, again, kind of goes back to the parenting experience?
So I really do. I mean, I think the Gen Xers, it's more of a threatening thing. It's more of a, and they, for some reason, again, the baby boomers raised us, so they can't be that. I mean, they can maybe write smarts, but they can't hate us that much. Like, we're kids, but I mean, the Gen Xers, it's like, I feel like they kind of have this perspective that, we just got everything handed to us, and their lives, were so hard, and the reality is, I mean, I was telling someone, I graduated in 2009, I went to career fairs, people wouldn't make eye contact with me. I mean, my first job out of school, I made $30,000 a year and lived at home because I couldn't afford to not. I mean, so I have put in my time, but the Gen Xers, I think they're more so than anybody, they didn't see that. They don't see that millennials have put in their time. They have worked 2 to 3 jobs to make ends meet and pay the exorbitant amount of rent that we spend. I mean, they don't, so I think that's kind of a difference, and to them it's very threatening. And they're not ready to exit the workforce. And then my just side snarky joke is, no one writes about them, so they're just upset.
So it's a little bit more of a competitive thing.
Yeah.
Give a letter, not a name.
Right. It's like no one, every article is about baby boomers and millennials, and there's birthdays, so no one cares. So that's my snarky joke. But,
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it. This is for you.
Oh, thank you.